Awesome. Well, it looks like welcome everybody. It looks like got a few more people trickling in. So I'll go ahead and get started with some intro. So we make sure that we can leave lots of time at the end for Q&As. This session is going to be recorded. So everybody that participates will be able to get that recording in about 3 business days. So be on the lookout for that so you can go back and rewatch anything that we cover. The Q&A is open as well, or feel free to just drop your guys' questions in the chat. My name is Alyssa. I will be hosting today and going over a bit more detail with you guys about our cybersecurity program. I also have my colleague Scott here, so we'll get into our backgrounds a little bit, but let's just dive right in. And then Scott, if you can let me know if you can't see my slides for some reason, I want to make sure that we're all good.
Looks good to me.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So I wanted to start off with a little bit of an agenda today so you guys kind of know what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, I am your host, Alyssa. We're going to go through a little bit more about Flatiron School, a brief overview of our cybersecurity program, a little bit more about the admissions process, the big question of outcomes and can I get a job after the program. So my colleague Scott will kind of dive in a little bit more about jobs specifically and career services. He's on our career service team here at Flatiron School. And then we will open the floor up for Q&A. So if you guys do have questions, like I said, as we're going through the presentation, feel free to drop those in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll make sure that those get answered at the end. So great, perfect. As I mentioned, my name is Alyssa. I am an admissions team lead here at Flatiron School. I work with kind of all of you interview stage on to make sure that you guys are ready for day 1 of class. As I mentioned, I'm located in Tampa. I have a background in events as well as education, master's in human resources. So a lot of diverse background for me, and also, you know, golfer, avid dog mom, all the things. And I'll let my co-host here, Scott, introduce himself.
Hey everyone, my name is Scott Bowman. I'm Senior Manager of Career Coaching for our cybersecurity programs here at Flatiron School. I have 13 years of career services experience at this point. Before I worked in career services, I was working on my bachelor's degree. I actually worked in customer service. So I've worked for Taco Bell, McDonald's, little known fact about me. But it's a lot of time, a lot of exposure. I've helped thousands of job seekers throughout my career, and I'm very privileged to be here today. I have a master's degree in higher education leadership, and I'm originally from the Midwest, from Wisconsin. Currently reside in Denver. I'm pretty stationary here. I'm rooted in for the long term. And, you know, I'm also a dog dad, a cat dad, so to speak. I really love to hike in the Rocky Mountains. I used to be a runner and travel to beautiful places. Those are some really exciting things about me, but here today, I'm here to really answer your questions about cybersecurity, as I've been working with our cyber job seekers for the last 6 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. You guys are in good hands. So we'll dive right into it. So a little bit about Flatiron School. We were founded in 2012. So we've been around for over 10 years now. So I feel like not only have we perfected our curriculum, but also career services as a part of that. We do have campuses in New York City, Denver, and online. So if you want to pursue some of those in-person options, those are great places to do that. We do have several different programs, not just cybersecurity. We have software engineering, product design, and also data science. So a lot of different offerings that are listed on our website too. So if you guys want more info about that, but really obviously today we're focusing on cybersecurity. So we'll dive a little bit further into that. So as I mentioned, there are some in-person options available for students. Those are for select programs, so make sure you check the website to kind of figure out what options those are, but we have full-time programs for our programs that are 15 weeks long. They are a set Monday through Friday schedule, typically from 9 in the morning till 6 in the evening, depending on where you're located in the country. We try to include all time zones if we can. And that really is an intense, like almost like you're going to a job for 4 months of training. So it's really for people that are able to not work or work kind of part-time hours to be able to jump into that program. If you can't make that work, you're like, man, I need to actually work to, feed my family and all the things. We do have flexible learning available, which is perfect for people that do have busy schedules, that are moms, dads, people that have other time commitments outside of either their full-time job or other things that they can't commit to a full-time program. It is flexible. It's about 40 to 60 weeks, depending on how much time you spend per week. That 40-week option is about 20 to 25 hours a week that you're spending on the course. You'll have some different one-on-one scheduled with an academic advisor, which we'll get into, as well as your instructors. There are technical coaches available nights and weekends. So if you do get stuck on something, there is some help there, but everything is going to be preloaded and available online for your learning platform. So those are kind of the two different options that we offer in terms of how we can take this cybersecurity course. I know I probably jumped the gun a little bit in terms of explaining how the course works, but really want to talk a bit more about what is this thing called cybersecurity. It's a big buzzword in the tech community right now, but in short, it's really protecting systems from cyber attacks so people can operate safely, whether that's software, making sure that there isn't any holes in the software, that whether that's hardware, making sure your computer is safe and there's passwords and all the things. It's also electronic and like cloud data. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can pursue with cybersecurity. There's some of our grads job titles listed there at the bottom, which we'll get into a bit more, but definitely a great industry to get into. We really love our cyber grads because there is so much opportunity for them. So definitely want to show you that a bit more. In terms of the curriculum, here's a little bit of a breakdown. On the left-hand side here, there's 9 different topics that you'll go over throughout the course. So network security, systems, threat intelligence. You'll learn a bit of coding in Python, applied cryptography, risk and compliance, logs and detections, and then application security and pen testing, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. But all of that will be covered within 5 modules. You will also have mini projects that'll kind of encapsulate a portfolio. As you go out throughout the program, you'll also have a capstone project that is really what serves as your applicable job experience and hands-on experience, as this explains, as you go throughout the course and as you go to seek jobs. And then again, on the right-hand side is more job titles that, you could do after the course is done. So there is a lot of that. In terms of kind of who you're going to be working with as you join the Flatiron School team, there is a admissions process that you'll go to. So it's my team that you will be talking to originally. We're really there to make sure that not only are you guys a good fit for what we're looking for, but we kind of check your boxes as well. So we'll go through a process with that, and I'll get into the admissions process a little bit later. You'll then speak with our onboarding team, which really helps you prepare for day 1 of class. So financing, all of your paperwork that you need to get done. There is some prep that you'll complete, things like that. So they'll be in charge of that. You will have a lead instructor that you'll have those one-on-ones with that I mentioned after day 1 of class, so they can kind of check in with you, make sure you don't have additional questions outside of your self-study. There is those technical coaches that are available, like I said, nights and weekends. So they're there to kind of support you if you get stuck. You also will have a student advisor assigned to you, making sure that you're tracking well. More so the non-technical support that we provide. So if you have any issues in class or need some additional support, your student advisor is there to kind of help you navigate what that might look like. And then at the end, when you graduate, you'll speak with some people on Scott's team, our career coaches that are really there to help you in your job search and really provide a roadmap for you from point A of graduating to point B, getting your first job. So a lot of really, really great people that you get to work with here at Flatiron School to really provide that 360-degree support success. In terms of the admissions process, I know I said I would kind of walk you through this, but really when you inquire with us, you'll get into our system and be able to submit an application for our program. Once that's in there, we'll be able to reach out to you to schedule your admissions interview. There is also a non-technical assessment that you'll take, 15 minutes, 50 questions. It'll feel a lot like the SAT. So if you haven't done that in a while, that part of your brain will get dusted off a bit. You'll also be able to apply for scholarships too. We have a lot of really great ones out there right now for cybersecurity students. So definitely want you to be able to discuss that with your admissions representative. If you go through that whole process, you're admitted and you're like, yep, Flatiron School is for me. We do have a $99 deposit right now that just says, yep, I'm good to go for whatever start date and mode you choose. And then you'll start working with our onboarding team to kind of get you prepped for day one of class, make sure your financing is all good to go, paperwork signed, all the good things. Speaking of financing, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We do have a few different options. The full program right now is $16,900. You can pay that fully upfront if you choose to, less than $99. You can pay in installments, which are 12 months, split over 12 months, 0 interest. Or we do have a couple of different loan partners that we work with, Ascent and Climb, and they have different qualifications for those loans. There is a pre-qualification process too. So if you guys aren't sure if you could qualify, you can go through that process prior to any of this if you choose to. And as I mentioned too, we do offer scholarships right now. So there's a lot of good options out there for flexible payment plans. Wow, I need another cup of coffee. Or maybe not. That's why I'm like stumbling over my words. Who knows? But yeah, so there is a lot of different options for you guys to hopefully make it more attainable for you to get through the program and get onto your new career. Which segues into this. So this is some of our 2022 jobs report outcomes. As of right now, or our past jobs report, this is audited by a third party. So it isn't just us spouting all this information, it is audited. So right now, 80% of our cybersecurity graduates who complete a job search cycle, over 30% accepted a job within 30 days, and over 80% accepted a job offer within the reporting period, which is so great. You know, that's a really, really good high outcome, I feel like, for our program. There's not a lot of programs that can kind of boast that. So we're really, really proud of those outcomes and the work that not only you guys do in seeking jobs, but also our career coaches do. Right now, 70% of our cybersecurity grads who accepted offers within the reporting period, over 70% of them accepted a full-time salaried role. So there is some students that maybe go and do internships or part-time programs, but over 70% of them are doing full-time work, which is great. And as far as salary, it's a really, really good starting salary, 67% or $67,000 for cybersecurity grads who accepted full-time salaried roles within the reporting period and disclose their compensation to us. And this is the average, I should say, the average starting salary. So it can be on either ends of this, but really, really good outcomes for our students, which will kind of lead into how do we get those outcomes, Scott?
Yeah, so thank you so much. So first and foremost, we really put you in the driver's seat, right? The skills that you are gaining out of our program sell themselves. But we know that a job search is a challenge, right, for anyone. And without the right support, without the right resources, it could be even more challenging, right? So the career coaching team is really here for your use and for your benefit to take out a lot of the guesswork in your job search, right? We have this roadmap essentially of resources, of tools, of steps really that will help you become job ready for this field and really maximize the skills that you're gaining out there in the job market. So with career coaching, at graduation, you receive a one-on-one career coach. That person is yours to tap into for the extended period of time, about 6 months. And over that period of time, you'll be meeting with that career coach on a weekly or regular basis, right? To check in about, the steps that are really going to help you optimize your success and connect the dots between your background, as well as things like keeping your skills sharp, getting out there and uncovering information that you may not be able to find just from job boards, right? So getting creative, tapping into your network, and really ultimately strategizing, right? Career coaching is here to really get to know you, to build that relationship and really help better understand the nuances and opportunities for the skills that you're bringing to the table. We cover technical and behavioral interview training, right? Cover letter and resume support. And actually during the program, you'll have an opportunity to submit your resume and your LinkedIn for review and to get a one-on-one with a career coach so that you can get that head start and you don't have to wait until graduation to take the necessary steps that give you an advantage, right? We help you with researching opportunities out there, right? Uncovering the super tangled web of opportunities so that you can make your time as efficient as possible, right? Things like, do I need a certification, right? Questions like, what kind of job titles should I be searching for, right? Your career coach can really work alongside of you and help you kind of map out based on your interests and your trajectory where that best fit might be. We cover professional networking support. So not only diving into, who's out there, but who should I know, right? Who's that person that's going to give me that little bit of information that will give me that advantage in my job search in the future? We help you uncover that information, as well as our employer partnerships team as well, right? We help connect the dots between our employer partners and the students, right? The job seekers who are out there on the market using these skills, and we take out a lot of that guesswork. That said, employer partnership also means advocacy. So there are a lot of the advocates out there, a lot of great companies that support you in what you do. And we'll talk about that here in just a second, but just showing you the continued structure that you'll receive beyond graduation, right? We're all here, we're all signing up for a boot camp, right? And the danger of going from 60 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour down to zero, right? Is a challenge, right? And the reality is that you have to carry that momentum forward beyond graduation into your job search. So we help you build that structure. We help keep you accountable, but ultimately you are the driver and you're the person who is in charge of taking those steps, right?
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Thanks. Oops. I did this last time too. I clicked on the link, like the picture, and it took me to there. So these are some of our employers, Scott, and I'll definitely let you expand upon a few things too here in a couple of minutes. We've got a really good book of employers that know our grads, know that they're really capable of the work that they're being asked of. So this is really, really cool for us to be able to share that robust network that we provide. And really, that's not much else that we have to share, at least with you guys. I do want to open it up for questions. I know Scott mentioned certifications, really anything in that realm that you guys have questions about, feel free to drop those in the chat or the Q&A, and we'd be happy to answer those. Great question. Christina asked if we offer financial aid, and unfortunately, Flatiron School is not an accredited university. We are a technical school, so we do not qualify for federal aid of any point, but we do offer those flexible payment plans and loan options for students. So definitely check those out if you're interested. Okay, Jose said, what's the acceptable rate for online classes and in person? Great question. So I'm assuming, Jose, you mean acceptance rate? I think, and if that's the case, we don't have like reportable data on the acceptance rate, but really if you submit a really thoughtful application, so take your time, there'll be a couple of questions that you're asked when you do apply. Make sure you kind of express to us in the interview, you know, why you want to take the program. That's really what we're looking for, is your passion. And then also take your time with that assessment. Do really well as best that you can. Try not to take it on your phone. Try not to take it in a crowded, you know, room or your kids running around in the background. Really take your time with all of that. And if you do really well in all of that, you should have no problem, you know, moving forward in the program. Awesome. And then Chelsea looks like she asked 9 to 6 is a specific time. So yes, so we have a couple of different options for taking the course, depending on which one you choose. I believe right now, cybersecurity, if you're doing the full-time program, is only offered full-time online. And that does run as a national cohort. So 9 to 6 would be Central Standard Time, or 10 to 7 Eastern Time, or 8 to 5 Mountain Time, or I think even 7 to 4 Pacific Time. Hopefully I encapsulated all of those things, but those would be your time zones if you did take the full-time program and you are committed to that and being active on Zoom for those particular hours. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Oh, yes. There was another cybersecurity event right before this one. If you signed up for it, usually they will send you the recording of it afterwards, but also it's usually posted on our YouTube page within 2 business days, 3 business days, I believe. So definitely check that out. If you can't find it, you can always reach out to admissions or admissions@flatironschool.com, and they can always send it to you too. But happy to share that with you guys, because that is a really good kind of starting point if you guys are considering Flatiron School. Yes. Yes. Oh, Angel had a really good question. So for our loans, they are usually for US citizens, but often you can, if you have a US cosigner, you could do it that way. So I don't know what your situation is, Angel, but they are typically only for US citizens. We do have a TIPA program. It's kind of more of an installment program too for students that are international. We are only approved to operate in a few countries and places outside the US. So definitely check with your admissions representative to make sure one of those will fit for you guys. Let's see. Scott, do you want to share a little bit more about certifications? I know nobody's asked that yet, but I know I always get that question a lot in admissions, but I'd love for you to share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so in general, in cybersecurity, there are literally thousands of combinations of problems you could be solving. And I think there's a lot of attempt to standardize what that looks like across the board. And so there tends to be opportunities for people to continue to learn or to test their knowledge against, other standards. And so certifications, the way they work in this industry is completely different from like a financial industry, where if you want to give financial advice, you have to have a certain type of certification. In this industry, it's more so a way for people to standardize or to really continue upskilling beyond, their initial learning, their initial exposure to cybersecurity, and to gain access to or to better understand the tools that will help you and your organization protect against cyber attacks. And so The great thing about entering cybersecurity is that there's no shortage of new things to learn. And so, want to just put that all into perspective is that there's always opportunities to learn, but that hands-on experience is extremely valuable. And if anything, is more in demand. And really what our program enables you to do is to gain that hands-on experience, right? And what we find is that students with that hands-on experience and training in labs and solving these problems every day, they are easily able to pass certifications out there as well. But more importantly, the certification doesn't prepare you for is to be able to show your work, right? And that's really what we're here for.
Love that. Awesome. Looks like Christina had a question about when does enrollment start and when do different start dates happen. So we do list our start dates on our website. If you go to flatironschool.com, click on the course and then click on cybersecurity, it will take you to that page. But we do have a cohort that does start August 7th, both in person and a flexible option or part-time option. So if you are interested in applying, I definitely want you guys to be able to do that. Awesome. Stefano said there is one next Monday. Yes, there is one next Monday, the 26th. That cohort is closed, but our August one is still open. So definitely time for you guys to apply if you are interested. And I think Stefano has a question for you, Scott. I don't know if you saw that, but the NSA, FBI, regardless of Flatiron. Yep, I'll let you take that.
Yeah, so the question is, can you land a job in the NSA or FBI regardless if, Flatiron School is not a university? And I would say it really comes down to what are the requirements and can you at least meet them in the middle for the vast majority of opportunities that exist out there. Benefit of NSA and the FBI is that they're extremely transparent in terms of what their process looks like. They do regular information sessions as well. They're finding ways to really diversify their organizations as well. And we're finding this, trickling down from the top down, that companies are less reliant on bachelor's degrees and, other kind of formal training for this industry alone, because there are people that can come out of high school and go and work for the NSA. There's people that can, that can do a lot of this stuff just with skills that they've gained out of their being self-taught or more structured learning. So I would say absolutely take a look into the requirements for some of those opportunities as well. I think FBI, it's special agent, and there's, physical requirements and things like that. I'd say though, the skills that you're gaining are going to help you be that much more effective of an analyst in that kind of environment. Many of these programs, many of these companies have their own internal training programs. Even if you were to be hired at more of a mid-level or senior level, a lot of them are going to dedicate some time to training you and making sure that you understand how to do your job rather than just plopping you out there and say, okay, solve X, Y, and Z problem. So we're seeing that a lot regardless, right? But it's really going to reinforce certain, by going through a training program like that, say you were hired into an apprenticeship or into a role with like a government agency, you would definitely see yourself like probably ahead of the curve in terms of what their expectations are, which is always an advantage. But that said, there's so many government agencies, and I'd also say take a look at CISA, CISA, because that's also a really incredible cyber-focused organization.
Yes. Scott has a ton of really good resources, too, that we can always send out to people too on different jobs. I know you've got a really great website that you've shared with admissions a couple of times where it just talks about skills that, are required. And I love that there's a lot more soft skills within cyber. I mean, it is good to have those certifications, but it means that, it's a lot easier to break into that world with formal training like Flatiron School gives you. And I think anybody can do it. So if you put your mind to it, you can do it. That should be a tagline somewhere,
Yeah, the background that you're bringing absolutely differentiates you from someone maybe fresh out of school. And a lot of times we find people coming with additional, career training and success in the past, really have that advantage in solving problems and being a good person to work with, and being willing to learn. Those are all great traits that are highly sought after and maybe weighed higher than, or weighed more than some of these technical skills. So we know that that's a problem. There's a skills gap, but most of that skills gap is really a soft skills gap in the industry.
Love that. Perfect. Well, it looks like we are a little bit over time. So thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of the presentation today. Next steps, if you guys haven't applied already online, definitely do that if you are interested, especially just to talk to one of our admissions people to get a little bit more info than we provided today. We love talking to our students, so definitely reach out. Also, if you've already applied and haven't scheduled your interview yet, definitely do that as well. Again, we love talking to our students, so the more we can do that, the better. If you do have some additional questions, we'll stay on for like a couple minutes here. Happy to continue answering things if you guys do have questions. But if not, we will see you on the other side.
Okay, I'm gonna end it, guys. Bye.